Governor Tim Walz joins LGBTQ mobilization efforts ahead of election. Last week, longtime LGBTQ allies Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and his wife Gwen joined efforts to mobilize queer voters and their supporters. This event was part of a larger, upcoming 10-day push by the Harris-Walz campaign to energize voters in key battleground states ahead of the high-stakes election. The campaign, in partnership with the Human Rights Campaign, Out for Harris-Walz, and Pennsylvania Democrats, hosted a rally in Philadelphia featuring Gwen Walz, HRC President Kelley Robinson, and Pennsylvania State Representatives Malcolm Kenyatta and Carroll. The event was one of over 160 planned actions across states to boost turnout among equality voters, those who prioritize inclusive policies, Robinson said. The American people know that we deserve leaders with a vision to ensure that we don't just get by, but have the chance to get ahead. Those leaders are Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz. The Harris-Walz campaign's 10 days of action followed a $2 million HRC ad campaign targeting LGBTQ voters in swing states like Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. HRC's recent report highlights that equality voters, 37% of the electorate in 2020, delivered a 60-point margin for Joe Biden in 2020 and could again play a decisive role in 2024. Governor Walz, a former teacher and Gay Straight Alliance advisor, has consistently supported queer youth throughout his career. His actions underscore the campaign's focus on protecting marginalized communities and ensuring that they have a voice at the polls.
We are so excited to launch Out for Biden-Harris.
As the great Harvey Milk once said, rights are won only by those who make their voices heard. And because you made your voices heard, marriages are more secure, and Joe Biden is our president, a president who elevated LGBTQI plus leaders to every level of our administration, who fights for the safety and freedom and dignity of all people every single day.
We believe LGBTQ plus rights are human rights.
We will do what we have always done in this movement, in this community, which is collectively, we will continue to build unity. We will continue to build coalition. We will always be fueled by knowing we have so much more in common than what separates us. We will be fueled by knowing we are all in this together.
What do you say?
Please text OUT to 30330 to join us.
I love this whole election that is going on right now. I'm ready to just do it already, but it's allowing Kamala to come out and be known as to who she is, because before it all happened, before she threw her hat in the ring, I was like, she's not a great public speaker. She's a little stiff, and I'm not going to vote for someone just because they're a woman or just because they're gay or any other reason, just because I look at the issues. So she's really coming out and showing the issues. And then I have Republican friends. You guys, I don't get it. Why you like Trump? He's not a Republican, and I've had Republican friends for years, and we have healthy debates over the years. And it's no longer that anymore. So I love that she went in at the end. And the thing that sticks out for me, the Republican friends, is, first of all, they're clinging to this misinformation, which is driving me nuts, and it's dangerous. And second of all, it's like, it's about the money. And capital gains are going to be this. I'm like, listen, capital gains, Kamala is not going to raise your capital gains to 48% because she doesn't have the power to do that. We have 3 branches of government. So let's go back to basics. Let's have a discussion. And I try not to be condescending when I give this elementary school lesson, but it's happening more frequently now. But the bottom line is, I'd vote for a Republican. I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat for generations. Mm-hmm. But I would vote for a Republican if the Democratic nominee was Donald Trump. it's not about, I guess they're saying country above party now. I love that. And Liz being out and her father being out. We're in a dangerous time, so I'm hoping that there's a loud minority out there and we are a quiet majority that's just going to go vote and make it happen, and we'll see what the aftermath is when they claim they won again.
Yeah, I'm done. I already voted. Voted by mail. Get it done early, and I will be going out to the polls as a poll worker, and no, actually, like working with the machines and making sure people aren't getting intimidated when they're in there. And I think this is very interesting to hear about this kind of group of equality voters, and it always just makes me think. Very first, number one, I just don't really see it as equality. I just see it just simply as dignity and giving each group their dignity. I don't necessarily want to be equal to anybody in any certain ways. I'm going to be better than you at certain things, but I do deserve, no matter what I am, dignity. So it does just make me wonder, like, if you're not voting for equality and for dignity, then you must be in a comfortable position where you don't want to give up any of that dignity for other people. So I did my job. I hope you do too out there.
I also just dropped off my ballot yesterday. And to your point, you said that you don't want to be condescending when you're having these conversations, but it's lately, I've dropped out of the conversations because I was like, I'm just going to vote and that's it.
I'm in and out.
Because it has been a conversation that I find draining, because I feel like I'm having a conversation about humanity. Just a baseline humanity, and everything else is just over people's heads with misinformation, and the misinformation that people stand on, it has no basis in humanity. It has no basis in treating another person with dignity.
It's what's in it for me.
It's what's in it for me. It's for me. It shows the levels and the depth that America has been built on for years, and it shows the ugly side. Sometimes we have to face our shadow self, and we facing our shadow self. I said this in 2016 when it comes to Trump. This is your mirror, America. This is your mirror, darling. Man. This is your mirror. And so now we're coming to terms with our shadowy sides. And back to your point, I was like, Kamala's team, this strategy is the execution. Now, you can talk about her, you can talk about whatever, but the execution that I have seen since they turned over, her team is just like on it.
Perfect.
They're not missing any mark. And this digitized social media push, that's where you win. That's where you really gain, like, the Gen Zers and the equality voters. That's where you gain the most traction. And what I really do commend her for, or her team for, is really like flying past the BS. Flying past the BS and just putting it right there and just being like, this is it. This is the campaign, and just go out and vote.
It's so inspiring just to see that this presidential campaign, is so, one of the key issues is LGBTQ plus, individuals and issues, and I don't think it's ever been this visible in terms of a campaign. So, I remember campaigns going back to the Ronald Reagan years. So, I mean, back then it was such a taboo subject, in anything, because it was related to AIDS or something like that. But now we have so much resources, and it's so great now that we're so visible on the highest platform in our country. So